creatures of the night? It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Rampage. Since I'm the only person in the world who watched it today, I'll just talk about it. Now, we did have the show start at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I wasn't even home for that shit. Many of us are not sitting down in front of our TV around that time on a Friday. But whatever it was that was more important than wrestling that came on, they ended up putting Rampage on earlier in the day. Now, here we have, starting off with the Learning Tree in the Redwood, Big Bill. They are on commentary. Meanwhile, we have Pac versus Rocky Romero in what I believe is the best match of the night. These two guys are just so good in the ring. Pac, honestly, I thought we were going in the route of him going against Jay White one-on-one at the pay-per-view, but does it look like that's where they're going at this point? They really do have a really great match here. Really great chemistry. Rocky Romero, he doesn't really have nothing to lose, nothing to gain at the same time. So it doesn't even matter if he loses, honestly. He always come out in the ring and put on a really great match with anybody who he's in the ring with. And I really do appreciate his work ethic. He's absolutely great in the ring. Obviously, Pac needs this win. You got this thing going on with the Bang Bang Gang, and he needs to come out on top. Does end up taking the win via submission. And after that match, while he's doing maybe like, I guess, a little celebration or whatever of him winning, Death Triangle all come together. Alex Abrahantes, who's still employed, is with them too. And he goes on the mic and he's like how the Guns are going to go against the best brothers, the best tag team in wrestling right now, which is Lucha Brothers, on Collision. And then he goes, and then we're going to take the trios titles from y'all at Double or Nothing. And I said, what? What? You mean to tell me that you're going to have 4 out of the 6 people that will be in the match from the pay-per-view go against each other the night before, and we shouldn't just get the match then? It's like so weird to me. It is what it is. I thought that was kind of weird. So we're going to get Lucha Brothers and the Guns on Collision, and then we'll see those motherfuckers back again, but this time with Jay White and Pac at the pay-per-view for the trios titles. I'm bored. So now we have, right after this match, Chris Jericho gets on the microphones, standing next to the commentators with Big Bill, talking about it don't matter to him if he got to fight 2 other people or 1 billion people. He's going to end up retaining the FTW title at Double or Nothing. While he's running his trap, Shibata comes running out there and he ends up getting into a little scuffle with Big Bill. Now, Jericho, he's watching on from afar, just saying to himself, well, at least I'm not getting my ass whooped. And then here comes Hook, who comes from the crowd and snatches up Chris Jericho by the neck, and they start fighting into the crowd. Now, cameraman, if y'all already knew that this was going to happen, where was the motherfucking lights? Was I supposed to just be hearing sounds and imagining what's going on with Hook and Chris Jericho in the crowd because it's so dark and you can't see anything? It was so weird. And they finally got to the point where they did get a little bit of lighting and you see what was going on like the very last few seconds of that whole thing. But sometimes I just feel like it's a little bit weird when it comes to y'all taking things out to the crowd and you guys know you're going to do that, but then they're not ready in terms of production so that people who are watching on TV can actually see what's going on, whatever the situation is. I don't know. After this, though, Renee Paquette's backstage with Hook and Shibata, and Hook has his beanie hat all the way down to the bottom of his eyelid. Like, bro, you can't see anything. Put that shit up. Like, I don't know. It's weird that he does that. Whatever. That's what the young people do now. And basically he's saying he doesn't care if he's going to be in the ring with Shibata or not. He's going to beat Shibata and Chris Jericho and get back his FTW title. And honestly, I'm over it. Nobody gives a fuck about this title. Shibata is Shibata, so he's going to want the title anyway. And then our tribal chief, Samoa Joe, comes out and he's laughing at Hook. And he said, you know, when we had that match a few months back, I thought I saw some potential in you. But you over here every week getting, crying about you not having this FTW title. I thought you were a better man than that. Obviously, Hook is not happy to hear that. And he's ready to get his title back. I don't care who has this title. This title still doesn't feel important in AEW. Now, Shibata, obviously, with his little translator, he says after he wins the FTW title, he is going to see Carrot Top at Las Vegas. And I don't even remember the last time or any time Carrot Top was funny. Now, after this, we have Samoa Joe versus some poor, unfortunate soul. Didn't catch his name. But it was like, what? I'm saying it was 30 seconds, and I think I'm being generous by throwing out 30 seconds. Probably was like 15. Didn't really matter. I don't feel like they put Joe in that situation a lot, but we know Samoa Joe for so many years. Samoa Joe can go in the ring for an hour with somebody and put on a fucking banger. We've seen him do matches like this. Stop insulting our intelligence by putting him in squash matches almost every time we see him, you know? I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but it was nice to see Samoa Joe out there. Now, here we have Renee Paquette with our girl, Deonna Purrazzo. Long story short, Deonna wants to fight Thunder Rosa at Double or Nothing buy-in. And I was just like, I know they didn't. I know they didn't. I thought we were on the road to actually having 3 women's matches on a pay-per-view. And I thought that would have been so fucking awesome and so fucking progressive of Tony Khan to do something like that, where we have 3 women's matches on a pay-per-view. And I don't count the pre-show to be part of the pay-per-view because honestly, it's really not. It's a separate thing from the main card. Tony Khan misses an opportunity with that. And to be honest, in terms of the women's storylines that's going on right now, yes, Mercedes and Willow, they have this long-term thing going on, and it makes it very interesting, especially since people want to see Willow Nightingale and Willow back in the ring with each other, and perhaps Mercedes take her title, not title back, but win the title from Willow Nightingale. Situation here is that when I see Deonna and Thunder Rosa, their storyline has actually been more interesting than Serena Deeb and whatever the hell she's doing with Toni Storm. Toni Storm is interesting. Serena Deeb, not so much. And honestly, it would have been a really cool thing to see these 2 ladies on the main card. And whatever, we're not getting that. Now, after this, we have Rush versus Isaiah Cassidy. Oh my God. Rush could have actually won this in like a minute, but then he decides to continue the match and antagonize Isaiah Cassidy. So this was more of a long squash match in a way. For the most part, Rush was just killing Isaiah Cassidy. I was like, holy shit, where's my phone? Let me call the cops. This is bad. We did have during picture-in-picture, right before we came back from picture-in-picture during that match, Isaiah Cassidy, with the spirit of John Cena, just happened to, get up and be able to fight back. And honestly, it didn't last long, but we did get a chance to see Isaiah Cassidy just saying, hey, I'm nobody, bitch. The Brooklyn in him definitely came out for like a minute or 2 in that match. And I think it made Isaiah Cassidy look strong for a little bit. But Rush, oh my gosh, absolutely decimated Isaiah Cassidy and ends up taking the win. And I'm glad so it felt like a squash, but just a long squash. And for the most part, he was in control. Like 93% of the time he was in control. Isaiah Cassidy had a moment or 2 to be able to defend himself. And I wish it was, I get it. I get what they're doing with Rush. I would love to see bigger and better things with Rush. Rush is a former world champion, especially a Ring of Honor champion. And you would think that he'd be on to bigger and better things in AEW. It's just there's so many people in the company. It's so easy to get just lost in the mix in that roster. And I don't know if they're actually going the right way with Rush, but we'll see what they do with him. I see a star. I really do. He has so much potential, so much star quality. I just hope they don't drop the ball on him, whatever it is that they're trying to do with Rush. Now, after this, we have Brian Cage, Bishop Khan gave me a call, and Toa Leona. And they said that they're no longer the Mogul Embassy. All right, we knew that. Oh, that's obvious. And Brian Cage ended up calling them the Cage of Agony. And I thought, oh, well, that's not bad either. That's not bad. I don't care what y'all call I want to see y'all on TV. Tony Khan, these guys are super talented. They're great as a trios. They're great as just like tag team or cage by himself, whatever situation is. Like, build these guys up for real, Tony Khan. Like, I feel like even when they were the mobile embassy, they were not taken to that level somewhat where Swerve is at all. You know, it's like you put people together, you have that one guy though that you want to focus on to be the star of the whole thing, and you leave everybody the fuck behind. And honestly, that whole group had potential to be doing so much bigger and better things that you see them doing right now. Like, they're often on TV all the time, and it's just like, can we be consistent with these guys? They're so freaking talented. I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're the cage of agony now. And honestly, I wouldn't mind being in the cage of agony. Now, main event, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander versus Anna Jay and Alex Windsor. Alex is the missus of Will Ospreay. They didn't mention that. And part of me was like, okay, that's good. That's good. It's people who don't know, you don't know. People you know, you know, you know. Now, great tag team match. Alex, if you don't know, she's been doing a lot of things with New Japan, and she's doing a lot of those appearances where they have the New Japan pay-per-views in the U.S., which makes me believe that perhaps, Will Ospreay and his family may want to come to the U.S. long term. We'll see about that. Not sure, but Alex is absolutely great in the ring. Now, Statlander, Willow, the favorites out of everybody in that ring, the baby faces, and of course, they're going to have to look on top here because Willow has a TBS championship match with our CEO, not Tony Khan, but Mercedes Moné, and they looked really great in the ring. They really did. Everyone had great chemistry. Anna Jay, she's improving little by little, and, not too much to take from this match, to be completely honest with you. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander takes the win. But we can't celebrate for too long because our CEO comes out in a god-awful outfit. I don't even know what that was, to be honest with you. She comes out and she gets into a physical altercation with both Statlander and Willow Nightingale. And she ends up looking on top at the end of the situation. So what's going to end up happening here? I don't know. Well, actually, wait. I think Willow, no, she was not on top of the situation. I'm not going to lie. I really don't care what happened here. I just want to see what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. I am not sure in terms of prediction. I feel like Mercedes, it makes sense for her to win. But a lot of people, when it comes to Willow Nightingale, she's absolutely grown on a lot of people. So people are not going to want to see that end up happening. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. But it was great to see her right before the pay-per-view. So it gives a little bit more for people to imagine in terms of what's going to happen between the two of them. Was the show worth the watch? Not really. You can just watch the clips on YouTube and be disappointed with that. You don't have to sit there for a whole hour and complain. I kept yelling at my TV, and I don't know, that's what I do when I watch pro wrestling. And it felt weird, like I said, to see Rampage on a Friday night. It hasn't been on for a while on a Friday night. And to be honest, I think it actually felt good to have Rampage and Collision together. Or maybe we could just have a 3-hour Collision. I don't know. Whatever situation is. You guys, I will be back for Collision. I will also be back for Double or Nothing. So if you're watching the pay-per-view and you don't want to feel like you're watching that shit alone, I will be doing a watch-along live. And you can have fun with us on the chat while we watch the pay-per-view. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Collision.